everybody. Welcome to Talent Playbook, the HR podcast for and by the HR leaders. We have reached episode 11 of the series. Today we have with us Jaidip Chatterjee, the Group CHRO for Reliance Infrastructure. He has been in the forefront of a lot of engagement with workforce and supporting their leadership to develop various HR frameworks for the different and varied verticals of Reliance infrastructure, be it a renewable energy or defense, roads or urban mobility. So welcome Jaidip to this.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting. Pleasure to be here.
As you are saying, like a lot of complex environment around us these days, and we are hearing a lot of things. So as per you, what are you seeing clearly as trends for 2026 in terms of people?
So, when as I reflect the word trend and I give a deeper thought to it, I think the one connection that I've fastly made from when I started my career to today is that the pace of change in business and workforce dynamics is touching upon 2026 trends in a very big way. And what is constant is only change, and that is the biggest trend in my view. The ability of a leader to manage this change is what he will have to reckon with and understand that this is a trend. It is no more a constant. So that is one thought I clearly believe, that if you are not able to understand the decoding of 2026 beyond the buzzwords, then you will be in a problem. And that to me is a big trend. I do not think the words like which come and fathom us a lot now, new world is called AI, magentic AI. These are, I do not consider as trends. I think these are phenomenon which come with involving business. But if there's anything, the trend that will keep us going is navigating the change. With every phase and every year, there will be a new trend. A new phenomenon is not a new trend. I think change is the new trend. That's the way I clearly think that. And there are many trends that will redefine the workplace learning and talent management by 2026, I clearly believe. One, it is skills over roles. I think skills will be faster and much in demand than the roles. Mm-hmm. Learning in the flow of work, the traditional models of classroom learning, set aside time, classrooms, login. I come from three industries: banking, consulting, infrastructure, and then now it was renewable energy. I think the traditional model of learning will never fall in place. It's the flow of work with which you will learn, because battery technology changes by every minute. The solar technology changes by every hour. Mm-hmm. So it is learning in the flow of work. And third, I think is the most important, and this to me is the umbrella of everything, is the third trend would be the rise of human capabilities. It is not that a scientist knows more than a class 12 student who might do a better coding and might be more required in the organization at that point of time than a PhD in computer science. So the rise of the human ability, regardless of qualification, education, is far more going to be in demand. Is actually what skills you have, whether you're qualified or passed the exam. I think these will capture the sights and moments and imagination of the 2026. So to nutshell, 3 points: skill over roles, learning in the flow of work, rise of human capabilities.
The things which you said also demands a lot of change happening in the organization to get to this point. Considering all of us were in the traditional roles, traditional ways of doing things. So from that, how are you planning to architect the change in the organization?
So change is more and more, the narrative of change is less about announcing transformation, but is becoming more about enabling people to navigate with confidence and clarity and with conviction. And 3 elements are very, very critical. The clarity of purpose. When people understand why change is necessary, resistance reduces significantly. So clarity of purpose. Leaders as translators of change. We can go to the classrooms and be working in big four consulting firms and make a beautiful slide, and the PPTs become the perfect place to talk. But if the leadership is not able to articulate the message to the line, and that translate strategy into everyday actions does not happen, then the translation of change has not happened. So the first will be the purpose, second will be translator of change, and third is psychological safety. Any transformation creates anxiety, be it at home, be it at workplace. We have to create that culture that people feel safe to ask questions, even if it's a difficult question, and experiment, and sometimes failing is okay. So the psychological safety quotient has to be brought into transformation big time. If this is not done, see, ultimately what happens is that, which I have figured out, is that sustainable change happens only when people feel included in journey. They are not subjected to. The operative word is inclusive, and not subjected.
Yes, absolutely. So in doing this change and following the new trends which are coming in, how do you think learning is impacted? Are you changing your approach to learning in your organization?
The only thing that we do and invest apart from people is in learning. And, I must tell that my chairman is very, very much pro-learning. So anybody and everybody who wants to get into some professional development, the cost is not the factor. Mm-hmm. The factor is that he is able to articulate in a proper note that why he needs it and what's the purpose and what is the ROI after doing this course. I think it's a straight cut approval. So that much we are invested in people, talent, and learning. And I think the learning architecture of today, for 2026 and beyond, needs to be personalized, agile, and business linked. Why I say personal? Because if it's not personalized and it's something that I really appreciate and you just force upon me, we will rebel. So you can't push me into a room and just say, it is AI and learn AI. So if the AI curriculum is not personalized to me and what is going to be relevant for me in business, the ChatGPTs, the prompts, the tools, the images, I'm not interested to hear your verbal diarrhea for 1 hour. So it is as personalized as it has to be. And other thing I just think is that, which I do, a lot of good learning professionals do, is that they understand that the learning pathways has to be different for different purposes. And let's not make one size program. Just because it's a good communication skill program, what you're trying to do a conversation with a top leadership level discussion, same program you're using for mid-management, same slides deck you're using, that, just...
It doesn't work anymore, yeah.
Then now you have to be more trendy. You have to blend it with digital and experiential, just not show on, go on, and with colorful slides. That will not appeal us. So that is another learning architecture that I really need. And see, because organization is investing money on learning and training programs, it's high time, like appraisal, we should have a learning measured outcomes dashboard. The fact that, take an example, the management training program. They are on a 1-year management training induction program, only learning. They are saying we are learning. So if you're really learning, and then you should start kicking the job in the next 3 months. So those sort of deep outcomes has to be now tailored with learning program. We are still in the traditional mindset that we are measuring training by man hours. We are training how many trainers have we hired, how many trainers have, the traditional obsolete dashboards are still in place, I think, which has to be replaced by capability improvement and business impact. That if this guy was trained, he is supposed to do this, has he did, yes or no? It has to be as binary as this. If it is not, it is an accountability on the trainer as well as the person who was being trained. That is the learning ecosystem. It will be less about classrooms, and more about capability acceleration is my thought.
Jaidip, now a little bit about Jaidip himself. So, what do you think one must have skill for leaders today?
Art of listening and learning.
Okay. One skill you are betting on for your organization?
Adaptive thinking.
One best practice likely to become obsolete?
Annual learning calendars planned a year in advance.
Yeah, it's too long a time.
Annual offsite, business meetings, then within typical leadership meets, quarterly appraisal, pen and paper exercise, all that will go. It is scan the code and click the button. That is how it is.
One thing people leaders must start doing or stop doing?
Don't think you know everything.
A book you're reading now?
The book I'm reading is The Wings of Fire by Dr. Kalam.
Yeah. At the end, what would be your advice to your fellow HR leaders?
To become a true HR business leader, you should have the credibility and the confidence to win the mind of the CEO. You should actually be his second home. If apart from the home he wants to discuss anybody, anything, because after 24 hours, 12 hours he spends only in office. So the second most important person that he or she would love to talk to and open up and for all the challenges, it has to be the HR leader, because you are the person who can, when anything under the sun, you can speak. So build that credibility, build that image. Don't try to become the HR officer like a police station, as if you are investigative journalism you are doing. Be human. And this is one thing I clearly tell to my team, that if an HR person, you don't have the traits of being human, then you should not be in the HR profession. Because just because you got the power to sign a warning letter does not mean to use it like a warning bell every time. So being human is extremely important. And I think any tall HR leaders that I have worked under, be it in India, be it London, Singapore, wherever I worked, across geographies, continents, I think the people who have stood the test of time and whom I have looked up to are being human.
Yeah.
So that's my very, very careful and thoughtful advice to every HR leader. If you can be a human, you are a great leader. The rest all can be tailor-made, thought, experience, all can come. But your attitude will create your altitude all the time.
Thank you, Jaidip. Thank you for your time for this.
Thank you very much. We must be in touch. I hope to see you soon. Bye.